Hello friends, welcome back one more time. Today we are going to see a thrilling match which was played between Petrosian and Fischer. Perhaps the game was ended in draw, but errors from both sides is making this game very interesting. At one stage, Petrosian was good in this match as Fischer made one positional error. But eventually, Petrosian could not take some advantage and did not manage win. In very next move, Petrosian is making mistake, and Fischer was able to equalize the game. So let's see how the game was played. Fischer Fischer had played King's Indian defense throughout his career against C4 and D4. So this is the one of the match of his career in King's Indian defense. So let's start. Fischer was black. So Petrosian starts with C4 and F6, Knight C3, G6, G3, Bishop G7, Bishop G2, Castle, Knight F3, D6, Castle, Knight C3, Knight, sorry, D3, Knight H5, and here Petrosian is playing D4. Once he played D3, and then in very next move, Petrosian is playing D4. So you will think that why Petrosian is wasting a move, but Petrosian can afford this loss of time in view of Black's misplaced knight. The Black knight is misplaced, so that's why here Petrosian can play this pawn two time. Okay, this is not loss of time. Here Fischer played E5. Now Petrosian played D5, but what happens if white is capturing D cross E5? Then D cross E5, Queen cross D8, Rook cross D8, Knight D5, Rook D7, Bishop S3, F5, in G4. Here black should play Knight F6, and if G cross F4, then Knight takes D5, C takes D5, and Rook takes D5. Good position for black, we can say. Fine. And if here white is not playing pawn cross pawn and playing Knight F6, then Bishop cross F6, G cross F5, G cross F5, and now here if white wants to win this pawn, then that's wrong, as here discover attack comes as the bishop is hanging. Now check is there, as the king moves, black would take this bishop, simple, and now black has material advantage, simple. So that's why Petrosian played d5. Now knight e7, f5, sorry, after knight e7, e4, f5, e cross f5, g cross f5. Here the unsound variation is knight cross f5. Now if g4, then knight d4, g cross h5, g4, knight takes d4. Good move from white side because right now the knight is hanging and there are one, two, three attacks and white has only two defender, queen and bishop. So that's why knight cross knight is very good move. We can say from white perception. Bishop cross d1 and now knight e6. This is a very unclear position from both side. So there are there is no clear advantage from any side. And on bishop cross f5, knight g5, and on bishop cross f5, knight g5, queen queen d7, knight e6, bishop cross e6, d cross e6, queen cross e6, bishop cross b7, ra b8, bishop g2, queen cross c4, and knight d5. Uh, White comes out on top. Fine. So here white has a beat good position. We can say. So that's why here after pawn, knight cross and bishop cross was unsound. So that's why Fischer capture with the pawn. Simple. Now, can you find a good move from white side? Yes. Here Petrosian played knight cross e5 as there is discover attack over the knight. So knight cross e5. Now if black is capturing with the pawn, then simply white is capturing with the knight with the queen simple, and here white is clear plus. So that's why Fischer here trading his knight by capturing g3 pawn. At least one pawn he earned. That's why he sacrificed the knight on g3 square as he is gaining knight in next move. So h cross g3. Petrosian captured with the edge pawn, but here Fischer was expected f cross g3 with this pawn. Fischer was expected f cross g3, but by capturing with this h cross g3, Petrosian takes the king side attack and plays for control of the center squares instead. So Petrosian wants to keep center strong. That's why he captured with the h pawn. And after some time, his judgment turns out to be right. Okay, so that's why this is good move. H cross g3. Now here Fischer makes a positional error. Here he should have captured this knight with the pawn, as this two center pawn will offer some play in center. Okay, so that's why Fischer should have captured this knight with pawn, but he captured with the bishop, which was positional error we can say. And without wasting time, Petrosian played f4. A very good move, blocking this pawn and taking the bishop and making some space for the queen and rook as well. So bishop goes back on g7, bishop e3, development of the bishop and controlling the weak diagonal, bishop d7 and bishop d4. And here Petrosian forcing to trade this bishop, And after capturing this bishop is a very active piece from black side. This is the, we can say, this is the only active piece over the board from black side. So once the bishop is exchanged, then white will soon get some grip over the board. Knight g6, rook e1. Here Petrosian makes a mistake. Actually, Petrosian should have played bishop f3. The idea is controlling this h5 square. So by which black cannot play h4, h5 and then h4. Okay, fine. So that was the plan behind this bishop f3 move. But Petrosian played rook e1. Now here Fischer had a very good chance to play h5, and by h4 he can trade this isolated pawn with this g pawn. Fine. So that was a good move from Fischer, but here Fischer makes a mistake and he played rook f7. And now Petrosian will not give you another chance, and Petrosian played bishop f3. Now queen f8, king f2, open the line for the rook or queen, rook e8, rook cross rook, queen cross rook, bishop cross g7, rook cross g7, and queen d4 taking the center, and with the idea of attack on a7 pawn. So b6, rh1. And here Petrosian has effortlessly achieved a plus position, and now he wants to improve his position before embarking on a committal course of b4. Now the plan is b4 and then c5. Simple. Okay, fine. So here Fischer played a5. This is force move. Don't allow white to play this b4 pawn. Now knight d1. Now Petrosian maneuvering his knight to take the good position for this knight. Knight d3 and queen f8. Rook f7. Knight e3. Rook f7. b3. Queen g7. Here black would like to exchange this queen. So queen cross queen, king cross queen, a3. Again the same plan, b4 and c5. Bishop rf8, bishop a2. Idea is bishop d3 and put some pressure on f5 pawn. Here one thing we can notice that move by move white is getting a very good position, and we can say white is improving his position. See here after bishop e2, knight e7. Here if white is not playing bishop and playing b4, now this is a positional mistake, we can say one more time. Let's see why. Because after a cross b4, black will get the entire open file. So now this is a good position for black, as these two pawn are very weak, we can say. That's why. So that's why here this is not a good idea for white to take break on b4 square. So that's why bishop e2 is good move. Now knight e7, bishop d3, h6, rook h5, one more attack, bishop e8. Here Fischer planned a trap, but the Petrosian did not fall in this trap and he played the rook on h2. Now let's see what about this knight cross pawn or rook cross pawn. If knight cross f5 check, then knight cross f5, rook cross f5, rook h8, followed by bishop g6, and winning the exchange, because right now the rook has no space to move anywhere. Okay, so that's why that was the simple trap. And if white is capturing with this pawn, white is capturing with this rook, simple. Then rook h8, a simple move, fine. And the rook is trapped now. So that's why Petrosian played rook h2 simple without falling into trap. Bishop d7, rook h1, rook h8, knight c2, knight c2. The plan is to take the outpost on d4 square. Headed for an even stronger post on d4, we can say. And see, each time Petrosian is achieving a good position, he managed to maneuver into a better one. So knight c2, after knight c2, king f6, knight d4, king g7. Here Fischer had not any plan. So see, black Fischer is just playing his king. He has no any plan actually right now. That's why. After king g7, bishop a2. Now the plan is bishop h5, rook e1, and knight e6. A very good plan. And here it is very strong position for Petrosian. And here Fischer makes another mistake. He played knight g8, which is very bad move. Here white cannot play b4 because a cross b4, a cross b4, and the black will seize the open file. But Fischer played knight g8 and allows Petrosian to play b4, which was very bad move, we can say. And without wasting time, Petrosian played b4 immediately. Now knight f6, bishop d3. Now if b cross f5, if b cross a5, then knight e4 check, king g2, b cross a5, rook b1, and knight c5 holds everything. So the game is equal now. So that's why that was not good for white. So after knight f6, white played bishop d3, very good move, and controlling this e4 squares. Here Fischer played a cross b4, a cross b4, king g6. Because right now Fischer cannot play rook 8 as this f pawn is under attack. So that's why black needs to defend this pawn. So he plays the king g6, and now rook a1. Good move. White has finally achieved his ideal setup, but black's say game is still tunable. Still black can keep uh, can play for a draw here. Now white is has a big advantage. White has more space and some good plan white has right now. So after king g6, r1, and then sorry, knight g4 check, king e2, re8 check, king d2, knight f6, rook a6. If ra7, then rook c8. Fine. So simple. That's why white played ra6. Now rb8 and now ra7. So rc8 and now c5. And now finally Petrosian sacrificing a pawn. Up till now, there is no any easy win from white side because all things are defended well. Even though white has more space and white is has a very good position, we can say, but still it's not an easy thing for white to win. And this is the only move which can put the black into trouble. And Petrosian played the same thing. So c5, b cross c5, b cross c5, d cross c5, and knight f3, and see the square. This square is very weak. After capturing by d cross c5, white is getting this e5 square, very important square, we can say. Okay, what happened if black is capturing d5 pawn? Now let's see what is happening. So here, if knight cross d5, then simple c6, and here white is clearly better. So that's why here black cannot take this pawn, and after b takes c6, b takes c5, d takes c5, knight goes on f3 square. Now king f7. This is very important move. Now again, if black is capturing knight cross pawn, then simple knight fork is there, and white will win a material. So that's why that's not possible. So that's why black is playing king f7. Now knight e5 check, king e7, knight cross d7, knight cross d7, bishop cross f5, and very good move from Fischer. r8. Now the bishop is under attack. g4. Okay, let's see why g4 is a force move. If white is capturing bishop cross d7, then king cross d7, king e3, king d6, ra6 check, king cross d5, rook cross h6, rook e8 check, king f3, and c4. The game is draw over here. Okay, so that's why that variation will lead to a draw. That's why Petrosian didn't play that one. So g4, king d6. Again, one more time, Fischer is making a mistake. This is the losing move. The correct was knight f6, bishop e6, knight cross d5, bishop cross d5, rook cross f4, winning the last pawn and forcing a draw. Because here now white cannot defend this pawn anymore, and after capturing that move, the game is draw. So that was the variation which Fischer missed out, and he played king d6, which is bad move. Sorry, king d6, and now Petrosian played bishop cross d7, king cross d7, king e3, rook e8 check, king f3. If here white is playing king d3, then simple rook g8 and gaining one pawn. So that's why rook king on f3 is good move. Now king d6, ra6 check, king cross d5, rook cross h6, rook h1. Here Petrosian missed a winning move, or we can say a winning variation. The winning variation was rook h7. Let's see how. In rook h7, c6, rook d7 check, king c5, rook d1, c3, g5, king c4, g6, c2, rc1, king c3, f5, rook g8. Try to stop this f6 pawn. So king f4, king d2, rook cross c2, king cross c2, king g5, c5, f6, c4, f7, rook cross g6 check, king cross g6, c3, f8, queen. White is a tempo ahead of the game, and here the black pawn is on c3, not on c2, so that's why here white will win the match easily. So like this, Petrosian missed out that winning variation, and here c4, now rook h1, and c3, g5, c5, rook d1 check, king c4, g6, c2, rook c1, king sorry king d3, f5, now rook g8, not allowing this f6. So king f4, king d2, rook cross c2, king cross c2, king g5, c4, f6, c3, f7, and it's a draw. As rook cross pawn check, king cross rook, king g7, f8, and f7. Sorry, c2, and the game is book draw. So like this, the game was ended in draw. So in endgame, Petrosian missed winning variation, and he could not manage a win. So as we have seen in this match, from both sides, so many errors and positional mistakes are played, and like that, the game was becoming more interesting. So please write in comment how do you like this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.